You take the home trucks and the information in the lunch. Okay. Jessica Silver, Environmental Health Director, not administrator, for Buncombe County Department of Public Human Services. So grateful for her for coming today and she did this information for us. So you have a lot, right? And let's say general Q&A till the end. If you have something directly relevant to some of the information you can be sharing, with me.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for having me. I hope what I present to you will make your work easier, make our phone calls easier that we get in our office, and help you list your housing availability after doing your due diligence and as accurately as possible. I'm Jessica Silver. I'm so glad to be here. And let me start off by saying this is a lot of information that you're going to hear in a short amount of time. And so if you would like me to come to your individual offices and have a one-on-one with your team, whatever you need, I'm available. This is a new process for us, and the reason that we had to do something different, we were getting 30 to 50 requests a day, and we had two people in our office, Lisa and Monica, who were responsible with trying to wade through all of those. The request, when I do a request, a septic permit with I allow myself 15 minutes per request because the process is kind of is long. So my purpose today is to show you the tools that you have access to. I have two examples that we're going to go through that I asked Monica before I left the office. I said, you all have something that you need to look up, that you want me to practice on a day that you haven't had the time to get to. And they said, sure, you want to? Yeah. So I'm going to walk you through the process. So you'll start out by visiting buncombecounty.org. This is our homepage. And then you will go to I Want To, and under applications, you'll see permits and inspections portal. This is probably really familiar. Is that on here? Is that in here? Yes, that is. That is on the very top. This is a link on find permits at the very top line. So some of you there's some handouts that are available at some tables. Everyone who is here will get an email with this information. So if you don't have one at your table, just know that you'll find it in your inbox. Okay, I've sent this to Matt, so we can forward it to you all. All right, so we're going to start at this page. You're going to want to have some general information ready before you can go to this page. So let's keep this one in our back pocket. Lisa and Monica gave me two addresses. We have 48 Canyon Crest Circle in Fairview that we're going to look up. That'll be the first one that we'll take a look at. I doubt it's going to be easy. It won't be easy. So we'll go to environmental health. Now, some things about this page that you need to know. This search bar is what we consider the global search. If you know the owner's name, the person who had the septic system installed, if you know that person's name, you can try putting it in this global search and searching. At this point, all I have is an address that may or may not be correct. So global search is fun, it's easy, it's real simple if you have a name. Okay. The other ways that you can search on this page is by permit number. Like if you already know the septic ID number, it usually starts with SEP, like 2021, for example, or WLS 2005. And then it'll have an ID number behind it. If you know those numbers, you can put those in to the permit number section. Likely you won't know those numbers because you know why make it easier for yourself, right? Yeah. And the most common way that I search is through using the parcel ID number or the PIN. I'll walk you through how to find the PIN. One thing that I will tell you is PIN numbers do change. Okay, so we're just gonna sprinkle in the things. PIN numbers do change, so I'm doing the bet we'll have to do this with this part. Next thing, street number, street direction, street name, street type. Y'all, I don't play with that because it's no fun, but you know, for the sake of what we're doing today, I'm gonna put in my address of 48 Canecrest. I don't know if I want it to come up or not come up. So we'll see. We'll hit search. Let's see what we find. Your search returned no results. Way to go. That is not unlikely for years.
This is why we're disclaimed, because I think every single time.
So I'm getting ready to razzle dazzle you a little bit. We're gonna go to what we call in history.
Would it have helped if you put in the rest of the address?
Likely not. How can you create it on the internet? Okay. We'll take out the 48. So we just want 48 pink. We just want pink. Okay. All right. So we have something. We have the roads are 14 Canecrest. We have 0 Canecrest. Also, what you are likely to see is 99999 Canecrest. So as you know that when septic systems are permitted, they are not assigned a 911 address. So you might have just a general road name. So not only do PIN numbers change, but road names change and the 9999 addresses change. Just, you know, sprinkling a little bit more folks. But there's a trick to it. So we don't know who our current owner is. We don't know if Canecrest Circle is actually in Cane Creek Cove subdivision. Might be, maybe not. So we're gonna put a pin in this, like we're gonna hold off on this. That's what I did. Thank you for it. Let me see if I can get some other screens. Practicing for okay. Okay. So what this is Buncombe County GIS. And we're gonna put in 48 Cane Creek. So, okay, thank you. Let's see what we get. So for this, what we want to pull is the property record card. This will allow us to get, we'll be able to get our PIN number, we'll be able to pull our PIN off of here. So Some other things that you will want to know from this page, and I'm gonna write down this pen, 9685 69226. Don't worry about all the extra zeros again, we'll have them. We're gonna take a look at the current owner's name. Write that down. And we want to scroll down. Some information that we want to know is, we'll go down and we'll try to see when, we'll look at the transfer history. This was in 2002, so we want to put that date in because that may tell us how old the septic permit is, like what year we need to search for. Next, we'll look at, let's see if this has a subdivision. Do I see it in the calendar?
Down from the arrow. Paintbrush Estate.
Okay. Okay, Paintbrush Estates, lot 12. Was that one of our lots on the other?
I don't think.
I think
it was forced to.
Yeah, y'all didn't think y'all were gonna have to participate. This is lot 12. Okay. The other thing you can note on here is the plat reference, because sometimes you do have to go back into the plat. I really don't want to do that. 50 to 77. So that's what we're going to put it down. Now, we're going to go to something called pen history. This is the blow your mind stuff, okay? Because pen history's changed. So pen history's changed. So this is going to show us.
How did you get that?
Yeah.
Okay, you're going to type in penhistory.buncombecounty.org, and that is on the camera. Say it again.
How did you transition from the GIS site to that?
Okay. So I cheated a little bit. I opened up the 3 sites that I knew I was going to need. One was the buncombecounty.org website. We've gone to Buncombe County GIS to find the PIN number. And then now we are on, thank you. Now we are on penhistory.buncombe. And this is all public access, so this is no secretive information, okay? So what we're going to do, we're going to put this PIN number in. Sometimes they will stop working on you for some reason. I have no idea why. You see it go back again. There we go. So we'll see that we have the same owner that we saw on the property record card. We see the deed date, we see the book in the deed page, along with the plat and the plat page. We are going to select history. This is going to give us what is called a parent PIN. And the PIN that we put in is the current PIN. And then we're going to see what's called child's PIN. So, you know, why not? So as a refresher, the PIN that we entered to get to this pen history ended in 2226. So that's that current pen. The new pen that we want to jot down and possibly use to search is going to be this parent pen. So let me jot that down. I'm telling you, you're going to be master investigators by the time this is all over. Yeah. All right, so we have this. So then, guess what we're going to do? Because it's blue, we're going to click on that again, and guess what's going to happen? We're going to get some more pens, all right? So this time we pulled in, we see an older deed date. So now we're looking at 1994. This means that the subject permit could be as old as 1994. Okay, so we're going to keep that in mind. We are going to jot down this other quote unquote pen that we have. We have 9685. 9685.
That was like the one you put in initially. The child pen?
Yes,
Yeah.
the child pen. Yes.
Current pen.
Well, current.
Oh,
Because she clicked on the parent then, so now it's showing the information for that parent then.
The other piece of information that we pulled out from this is we picked up Joel Meisler as another detail that we didn't have before. These pens are the same that I had from the, well, no, there's one number off.
that far.
You can see what?
There's a bar that came up. This is weak stuff. Videos period. I can't see this.
This is good, but wouldn't this be an ideal situation where the broker is working with the parcel and wants the environmental records? He would basically send the email over to you and ask for you to search back and find all this.
So that would be ideal, right? But we don't have the manpower. We don't have the capacity. Yeah. Yeah. So we're not. So now, right, if you make a request to our office for this, what you're going to get is an email with these instructions on how to do the searches. So you won't get that. We'll get that too. Just because we were getting so many requests, there was no way we could keep up with it in addition to the other work that's assigned to our front office. Okay, so we have 65026. Okay, yeah, I don't know. 9685026. 91262. That is different. So we're going to click on that parent pen again because, we're again writing out and we like writing. So this time we came up with new names that's worth noting. So we're going to jot down these names of Robert. And Evelyn. We're old. And we have the new year, 1986 now. So now we're ready to go back to the search site. So, sure.
So the problem is here. The problem is that we don't have enough people to do this.
Yes.
So to maybe take care of the problem, maybe there's some strategic way to figure out, like, maybe the houses that were built before a certain time period to be covered by you. And then let us be responsible for the new one. You're getting bombarded. Not right.
Right.
By everyone, because we have to have it for our record. part of our place. Right. So that way, because when you're too young, what are they going to do? Like,
I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing.
no, I was curious, like the people who are doing this now, will they be doing something else?
Oh, they have, yeah, our office also does all the food and lodging inspections in the county, TFEs, and they take payments for tattoos and swimming pools. So there's routine work. Like, don't think because we're not doing this,
Well, I
they're
understand.
sitting around sitting their phones, right? Yeah.
It's gonna be a lot of
Her point's very valid, and honestly, what the buyers are really dependent on the listing agent or someone in that process to get the word over them that here is the septic permit, or that there's no record. Well, I can tell you right now that the
But
So
that's
that is the
right.
Can I just? All right. I'm gonna do half one time if you can hear me. So let's come back. Let's talk about why we're here. That's the whole purpose, right? Yeah, the idea of, just to go and ask the commissioner for 6 other people across the front. But then what would happen is that would mean I get those 6 positions when I really need inspectors to go out and do septic inspections, which could potentially hold up your building process or your buying process, right? And that would also mean that I can't ask for the food and lodging inspectors who inspect all of our restaurants here. That means that all of us are going to be at risk, could potentially be at risk because those inspections aren't good. So in the grand scheme of things, of the work that we do within the office, yes, this is important. We want you to list the properties correctly, because if you list them incorrectly, then that means septic systems could blow out and stop functioning, and people could need repairs, which could lead to environmental damage or to public health, illness, and disease. So that's why we're here. We know I can't ask for 6 more people across the front. That's not going to work because I need inspectors. During the height of COVID, you all probably know this, probably preaching to the choir. Our inspectors were 12 weeks behind septic inspections. We were able to get to additional positions, so now we're 5 weeks. Prior to COVID, we were only 2 weeks out. And we were almost unmatched. Wake County couldn't do it, Mecklenburg County couldn't do it, but we were doing it. But then COVID happened and a lot of things changed. So this is one of those things. So if I could just ask you to sit with, this is the best that we can do right now. It is way better than when I started, but still not as user friendly. Someone talking before this started, someone said, well, can it be tagged to our GIS? That is something that our IT is working on. So eventually you'll just be able to go to GIS, and if there is a septic permit associated with it, it will be attached to that GIS. That's a ways away, but it is something we are discussing. But you know that's in the works. So just know that, okay? All right, so to get us back, right? The whole purpose of today is to walk you through the process. And I keep saying it's razzle dazzle, right? We sprinkle a little something special. It is a drawn out process. If you can see the paper that I have now, I have 4 PIN numbers total. I have 2 different owners' names, and I've gone back to 1986, right? So that's where we are. So what we're going to do now is take that information we were able to pull from Buncombe County GIS, searching for just the address, which a lot of times is all we would have. We found the PIN number. From there, we also found an owner's name. We learned that it was in a subdivision and we know the lot number, right? Then we went to the PIN number, we did the PIN history, and we have all these extra PINs, okay? So now we are back on our main search portal, okay? All right, so let's go down.
2 real basic questions.
Sure.
If you don't mind.
number one, do we put all the zeros at the end of the PIN number? And number two, do we put the dashes?
You do not need to put the dashes or the zeros at the end of the PIN number.
I do have one more question.
Sure.
Why do you do the Carolina County? This might be a stupid question,
That's a good question.
but why do we have four separate septic?
Why do we have
Why
four
are there
septic?
four separate from one person?
They're PIN numbers, right? So what happens usually, a developer will buy one huge tract of land and it's given one PIN number at that time, and when it's subdivided, each individual lot gets a different PIN number.
Okay, so we see that there's four, that means there should be four separate properties there, your reference?
And possibly, or it could have been a lot that was subdivided more than one time. Makes sense, depending on what the size of the lot is. Good question. Okay, so now we're gonna play with our PIN number that we found, okay? We're gonna put in the original PIN number first, 96856922226. We would get no results, no surprise there. We're gonna drop up.
With the parent.
That was the very first one that we pulled off of the property record. Yes.
Does it make a difference, for example, if the street names change over time, like, would it be better to search without the street name or just the parcel?
Thank you. I didn't see the street name. I'm sorry. Let's try it.
Good.
Okay. Good try. Good catch. Okay. So that was one pin that we had. Now we're gonna go on to the next pin. 1685. 126. Nothing there.
Those two things may have been the lot before it was subdivided, before it even had a section name.
Yes. 9685. I know I wrote Liberty Morgan the wrong way, but I can't remember which was. So nothing came up there, and then the last thing that I had. All right, so nothing here. But the next option, remember I told you about this global search? You can use that for owners' names. We're gonna try putting in the last name Hindenburg, H-E-D-E-N-D-E-R-G. Let's see what I can do. Oh no! You were excited, right? Wait a minute. So here's the thing. March 23. This says K Crest 23. Now, the thing about that is, it is possible, like I would say, still before. So we're gonna scroll down. Oh, that feels so good. No, I know, right? We see more details. There we go. Record. So let's go to attachments. No records. So, but I do see that an OP has been issued, and in this case, what I would say is we would write down this number, SCP 1986. What's an OP? Okay, yeah, an OP is an operations permit. That is the permit that is going to identify how many bedrooms the septic system was installed for. That is the one, like, that's what you're going to want to list properties on. So I've written this down. I'll keep that in my back pocket. Let's see if we can find something under the last name. Might as well. Because here again, it still said King Free. M-I-S-O. So there's a mechanical permit. We don't need a mechanical permit. It's not even, it doesn't look like it's close to where we would want it to be. May I ask? Sure.
what date were permits issued and they?
So, yes, so our rules didn't take effect until 1977. We have found some permits back from the 40s. So they're really, I don't know. Hopefully we can find everything from like the mid 1990s on up, but I have seen some as old as 1942, I think was the oldest permit that our solar farm. So we didn't find anything under that. We do have a case number that may or may not be it. This would be one that what we've gotten from what we've heard from our state environmental health section is if we cannot find an OP, like if the record is just not found, because I'm not too confident that this one this could be it though, from 1986, that case that we found. And it didn't have any OP attached to it. What you can do, what the state has told us that you all can do if we cannot locate an operations permit is use the number of bedrooms that's listed on the property record card. So if it says it's 3 bedrooms and list for 3, we cannot go out and evaluate a site and create a permit from whenever it was installed. People do call and ask us that a lot. Like if we can't find an operations permit, there's no way we can do that without having the whole system uncovered. And the state wouldn't approve of us, wouldn't allow us to do that. And the state, by the way, is the ones that gives us the authority to do this.
So a few years back, there was a property that I had the buyer, and at this point, obviously, we were emailing you folks to do that work for us. And so when I had them as the buyer, the records couldn't be found. The home was listed as a 5-bedroom, and subsequently 2 years later, and doing my due diligence to make sure it was listed correctly, had you folks do it again, and then somebody found it. And then I'm left with now a seller that bought a 5-bedroom and is now selling a 3-bedroom. And I had looked on here as well and couldn't find it when it originally couldn't be found. They found the physical record and then input it. Do we know if all the records have at this point been input into the system, or are we still in a process of finding things and adding them?
Everything that we have is online. We don't have a like file cabinets full of operations permits that just have not been put into our system. We actually don't have. We don't want to keep them in paper form. It's just easier for us and for space wise. We issue about 2,600 septic permits per year, and that wouldn't do. That's not practical for us to carry people in the office. What we do have are improvement permits or construction authorizations in a file cabinet because they have not yet been installed. That's now sometimes your clients will come to us, your buyers will come and say, hey, has this system hurt before? In other words, if we have an improvement permit on it, and we can look in the file and say, yes, it does, or no, it doesn't, here's an application. So
with a friend,
yeah, sure.
that number that you put in your back pocket and start to execute.
Yes.
Put that somewhere and put that number.
Sure.
That number.
So what I would say then, I would call somebody. I was in the training yesterday, and the only thing I could find was the SCP number. Can you pick it up? And if I were on my computer, I would look it up.
You would have to do that.
Yeah, I could look it up. But if it doesn't have, what I would look for on that, I would get more information about, we saw Cane Creek 23, right? I would try to see if it really was Cane Creek 23 in our application information that we have in our data. But I don't suspect we would still find the permit.
So you couldn't put it in that permit number right there.
Yeah, I could, but there's no records associated with it.
Oh, I see. Like what you look in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So y'all ready to buckle in and try one more? Or does somebody have one that you want me to try? Yeah.
What you got? 110 Ponderosa Drive, Swananoa. I found something just now. I've been doing it for a week. Okay. And I did find something. I did the old PIN number. I found a septic permit, but now how do you find the drawing?
Okay. What is the SCP number?
It is SCP 1999 22976. I can't believe I found it. I'm looking for it.
All right. So we'll go here. You're going to go to record info, the drop down arrow, okay? And then you'll go down to attachments. And here you see an AC, which is the authorization to construct. But remember, what you all want is the OP, the operations permit. So we will select that blue line.
What did you have?
So I'm sorry.
Did you get options or did you do it? What did you put on?
Record info and attachment.
I have the two up there, but when I click on that funny thing right there.
Yeah, it's gonna download.
There's a.
And it should come up. It might come down to the bottom of the screen. Now, so
And I know.
so addresses change. So it's a lot. You do the best you can. So think about what this what the house site looks like, actually looks like, how it looks on the property. Does it seem to be the right one? How many bedrooms would be listed? You'll see it listed out here, and you should also see it in the drawing. Other things that are notable on operations permits is to take a look at. It's going to tell you whether there's a pump system. I know all that you all care about is your 3-bedroom, right? How many bedrooms? But the other thing that's really good for your buyers to know is if it's on a pump system, like where's your pump? Don't drive on your system. Don't have a 3-bedroom and rent it out for 24, sleeps 24 a night kind of situation. I mean, I know that happens. And then the other thing of note here is what type of repair would be required and where the repair area says it's a pump or repair. So those are just some general things to think about. Hopefully that's your right one.
What's so confusing though is when you see those line items come up, it said last update was 2008. This house was built in 2000. So I guess that was maybe when it got loaded in the computer at your site or something.
You mean, 429-2008?
Yeah.
It was probably when it
Right, with the different date.
yeah, I would think that would be the date that it was made.
And the AC one that's below it, what is that applicable to?
So all that shows is this is the permit that's required for a person to take to a contractor to actually get the system installed. So this is how it was, how the inspector said the system should go in, and then the operations permit is how the system actually went. But they should both be for a 3-bedroom home. Yeah.
So there's 3 different permit types. The improvement permit when we have a perk,
Yes.
then the construction permit, then the operation permit.
Yes.
And
And repair. Yeah.
did you say the IPs are or not typically?
IPs typically are not available because you could have multiple IPs on the same property. Let's say you all have one property listed and each of you in the room has someone who's looking at it. And I don't imagine you have more than one person in diligence at a time, right? But the person says, I want a 5-bedroom. And so they get an IP for a 4-bedroom, but then they say, nope, I don't want it because I already need a 5-bedroom home. And then the next person, your person goes under contract, and this time they want a 3-bedroom. Well, they want a 3-bedroom, but they don't want it built where the 4-bedroom IP was issued. So IPs generally, that just gives the buyer the knowledge of how many bedrooms could fit on this lot, and can I build a size house that I want, and can the house be on the piece of the land that I want?
So often we have buyers who are willing to buy a piece of land in this park previously. So you're saying for IPs, the best method is still to emailing because there's not really a way to find those on our own. If there is an IP on a piece of property that's been done in the past.
Right, there is not. So let me say this. I highly, highly, highly recommend that people tell you their dream.
Agreed.
Right? Because we have seen it is possible for an IP to be issued for a piece of land, 2-bedroom, and the person says, yep, I want it because I have this old IP. But the old IP may be expired because they're only good for 5 years. Or the person wants to move the house. They don't want a 2-bedroom. They want a 6-bedroom, but they've only looked at that IP for a 2-bedroom. Then when they bought the property, this is a real world story. They bought the property. They can't get a 6-bedroom house on the property. And now they're mad at us because, well, I did my due diligence. I saw this IP. Yeah, but your IP was only for 2 bedrooms. So if you want 2 bedrooms, we can do that for you all day. But not 6 bedrooms. So we're like dream crashers. Yeah. So for those purposes.
But if it was they're looking for a 3, it's perfect to pass for a 3. We tell them it's expired and changed over time. But some buyers are like, I don't, as long as it's perfect in the past, they're personally okay with it. He just thought when we recommend. So we still, I know.
Yeah.
But we still, in general, it's just not possible to find that online. It's still contact tool.
I mean, they could, but realistically, I think they could contact us. And then we're going to be back in the same position that we're in. And then I'm going to say, well, open up all IPs. And I don't think for buyers and just the general public, that would be the wise way to go. Because IPs I want a little tiny house, but then you want a 6,000 square foot house. That makes a huge difference. The other thing that I hear a lot, people say, well, I don't need to get an IP because the land next to it, all the land all around it has homes, so I know it'll have. No, not true. I'm sure you all have seen that too. So, questions about this? Yeah.
Am I right? Previously, I had an IP and it was approved for a 4-bedroom. That's expired 5-10 years ago. But now my buyers want a 3-bedroom. It should not be a big problem. You could update, and if it was approved for a 4-bedroom, it shouldn't be a problem for a 3-bedroom today. Is that correct?
It should not be. However, you don't know, right? You don't know what has happened to that land since then. For instance, if there's an easement on the property and someone bought an adjacent property and they have that owner with that easement has decided to, I don't know, I've seen people use properties for storage or push all their field dirt on an adjacent property that they do not own, but that damages the prospects for that adjacent property.
So never assume.
Yeah, it's just better not to assume anything. It's just, to me, this is like one of the most important and most expensive purchases people are going to make. So I think it's just better to err on the side of caution from somebody who grew up on a septic system, had a well, have a septic system in my home county. It's just do your due diligence. I didn't even trust myself to do my own soils work. I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. Yeah.
Just
What kind of timeline are your folks running on now with the respective inspections?
Yeah.
From now to look or covered with things.
So we are about 5 weeks out. A whole lot better than where we were. We're in the process of hiring a new person, because the commissioners did give us 2 positions. And hopefully they'll be on board soon. Yeah, we'll be good to go.
You're hiring someone to be an environmental inspector.
Yes.
Go
for
out.
on-site.
Septic.
Yes. Yeah, yes,
And the cost for that still about $400?
yes. That's right. Another program that I'm going to tell you about from here, the commissioners, they put aside $75,000, which does not sound like a whole lot, but they put aside $75,000 to start a septic repair program. Well, unfortunately, we have this county. I mean, I don't have to tell you all. You are very well aware that we have a stark divide between the haves and the have-nots, right? Septic repairs can be really, really expensive. I actually saw a home listed on Zillow in Black Mountain because it required a drip irrigation system that was going to be $21,000.
Wow.
And I took a screenshot of it, but I take some of the screenshots. I cannot find it, but I wanted to find it and use it in the presentation because that kind of explains like why people sell. Like this house is going to be a whole lot cheaper than what it could have gone for because it required a $21,000 repair. And the other thing, so the septic repair program is going to help people who may not be able to afford to install a repair area. So I'm really excited about it. So more to come on that. Hopefully, 75,000 won't go far. It'll go just like that. We hope to open up that application process in November and December and start making awards in January and February for installations. Do you all have questions? Or any questions from the Zoom chat?
Yeah, you covered one of them.
Okay.
But I did have a question from someone in advance. If a property owner asks for a copy of their septic permit after failing to retrieve it online, are they going to be refused assistance from the health department?
I did see that question. I figured it would be better to wait and answer it today. We have in our office a computer set up, and we have people that can help folks try to find a property, a permit. So we won't refuse them. What we would do is encourage them to either come in or, hey, can you get Microsoft Teams and let's walk through it together. I've done that a couple of times. We don't want to refuse anybody because we know you need it, right? And people need it, even if they're not selling, they need to know where their septic systems are just in case they want to build something else or they want to have their septic tank pumped. So we will not refuse anybody, but we would encourage them to come in or schedule a Teams chat for this so we can do something online.
So I had a situation when I was trying to get a permit per test done where I didn't know the process at all that first time. And when I called, they answered my questions, but didn't actually tell me what I needed. I would just made it hard for everybody. So can you tell us kind of if you get your permit test, like I know you need the survey with or at least the plaque with where you think you're gonna want the house and where you think you're gonna want the well and where you think you're gonna want the drive and when you pay 400, just kind of an overview of how we go about that.
Sure. So you can go to buncombecounty.org/BH and the Siren Garden Health section page. You can scroll down to septic, sewage, and well. And under there, you'll see applications for new septic and well. To me, one of the most beneficial sheets would be the instruction sheet. And this is what everybody has to do. You don't necessarily have to have a survey with us. You do, however, have to have what's called a site plan, where you sketch out where you want your house to go. And people say, oh, I have no idea where I want my house to go. Well, if you don't have an idea, we don't know where to start, right? Just do the best that you. I always encourage people to do the best that they can. I always say the size, think about sizing the home larger than what you think you might want to have. The other things that will have to happen once you, that the person is agreeing to, I'm doing all of this stuff, your property lines have to be marked. If you make a visit and your property lines are not marked, we cannot go on the property. Even if you have that bright pink placard that you get from my office with the case number on it, posted, we can't go on the property. We have to see property lines clearly marked, and then mark where the house should go. You'll want to tell us if you want to have a deck, a swimming pool, playground, things like that. Where you want your driveway, all of that should be identified on your site plan. And underbrush should be clear on the property. It's really hard for our inspectors to to walk through briars and bushes and stuff and find a way. They have to be able to see how the land lays, the slope of the land and the position of any streams that may be across the property or any swells on the property. Next thing, I would say application, site plan, complete the instructions page. Know that when our inspectors go out at a minimum, they're going to do three auger boards on the site where the person said they would like their septic system to go. If that works, then they'll go ahead and find a repair area. They'll do additional auger boards. If the initial site doesn't work for the person, according to the site plan, they will they will do different auger boards to try to find a suitable location for it. And in that case, when they draw up the permit, the IQ, the person could then say, you know what, I really don't want it because I can't put my house where I want it to go. This is the islands. Yeah. So everything that you need is at buncombecounty.org on their website. So there's the site plan, there's the application. We do like for you all to apply for a well and an IP at the same time, just because that way the inspector will go ahead and site the well, and we know that we can get the separation, the required 100-foot separation from the well and all parts of the septic system. I don't know if I'm giving you a whole lot. But we do not like to accept partial applications. So you need all of those pieces together. Property owner consent form. Most of the time for your clients, we do the due diligence piece of the contract. And make payment then. Our office stops receiving payments at 4:00 every day. So that's my state there. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I didn't realize that. But yeah. My apologies. But everything else is available online. Any other questions? Yeah.
Could the applicant be notified when you will be there and be present so that if there's an alternative site, they would be there?
Yeah. One of the things that we do different in this county than the other counties that I worked in is when you receive an application, that doesn't trigger the inspector to make the inspection, the site visit. When we get the application, on the bottom of the instruction sheet, you're given the inspector's name and phone number. and instructions that says, call the inspector when you're ready for this site visit. And so once the client calls, applicant calls, and says, hey, I'm ready, the inspector say, okay, would you like to meet me on the lot? If so, I'm available on this day and this time. So yes, that's possible. We do that a lot. Yes.
Is Buncombe County the only county that's gone to this new policy, or are other people statewide not, any other EH departments no longer taking requests to do the search?
I don't have a good answer for that. Because I just don't know. In counties out east, like if I think about my former county, you would have to physically go because they still have the massive number of file cabinets. But we are trying to digitize everything we have. Any other questions? Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, guys, we thank you for coming. We're invited to come, and we appreciate you taking the time. It's come a long ways from the days we had to shove everything in facts and send it to you to have stuff online. So we appreciate your efforts.
Thank you. I appreciate you. And if you want me to come to your individual agencies, I'm happy to do that. Let me know what you need. This is for